Okay. Hare Krishna. So let us start our class by reciting the Mangala Charan prayers to invoke auspiciousness and deriving the mercy of the previous acharyas. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Ham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Shahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kantha Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulam Hayate Yat Kripa Tamahang Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chitaneshwar Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Tam Karunarnavam Ijobiyat Prasadachat Bhakti Sastra Pravartana Hare Krishna. So welcome back to our English Bhakti Sastri class. So we are continuing on the unit number 2, still in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita series. So in the previous class we have discussed Krishna, the section of the Chatusloki. Yeah, Krishna revealed the Chatusloki to Arjuna. So by saying that everything emanates from him, from Krishna, and ultimately Krishna will destroy the ignorance of the devotees who are sincerely surrendered to Krishna by destroying the ignorance from within, within the heart of the devotees. So Krishna gives knowledge, tadami buddhi yogam tam tesam evanukam patam aham agyana jamtam. So aham agyana jamtam asayam yatma bhavastu jnana dipena bhasvata. And Krishna gives us knowledge, jnana dipena. So that knowledge is like a torch, like deepa, like a fire, shining lamp. So by Krishna's grace, actually, we can understand Krishna. So to understand Krishna is not enough simply by depending on our so-called sub-brain and studying of the Vedas. So understanding Krishna can be understood only when he himself reveals himself. Yeah, because Krishna is independent. If he doesn't want to be understood, so nobody can understand Krishna. So we can understand Krishna up to some extent, and that's also depend on Krishna himself. Yeah. Jnana dipena bhasvata. So Naham Prasarvasha Yogamaya Samavita. Krishna is covered by his Yogamaya potency. Therefore, Krishna mentioned Naham Prakasa Sarvasha. He does himself to everybody. Yeah, but he chooses to whom he wants to reveal himself. Well, of course, the qualification is that Bhaktosi me Sakha Cheti. Yeah. Be Krishna's devotee, first of all. All right, so that's just the flashback on our previous class. So today we are going to see that how Arjuna reacts after Lord Krishna revealed the Chatusloki to Arjuna. So Arjuna now, he is convinced that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Arjuna is requesting Lord Krishna. Yeah, Arjuna is very eager to hear about Krishna's opulence. So in the second part of our discussion today, that Krishna will reveal his opulence. And ultimately, Krishna will conclude this chapter by saying that Ekam Sena Sito Jagat. After all these opulences, it's just a small fraction of my energy. Okay, so therefore, the title of this chapter is that Vibhuti Yoga, the opulence of the Absolute. All right. So from text number 12. So text 12 to 18, Arjuna's acceptance and request. After hearing the essential 4 verses of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna became completely free of all doubts and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He then expressed his eagerness to hear Krishna's glories, so he could always think of him. So here it is, Arjuna's direct response after Lord Krishna revealed the Chatusloki Gita. Arjuna Vacha, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavam, Purusham, Shashwatam, Divyam, Adi Deva Majam, Vibhum, Ahustvam, Risaya, Sarve, Deva, Arsinaradas, Asito Devalo Vyasa, Swayam Eva, Swayam Chaiva, Bravisimi. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this word Param Brahma means you are the Supreme Brahman. Yeah. Of course, when we mention about Brahma here, we are not talking about Lord Brahma, or we are not talking about the impersonal aspect of the Lord. Yeah, but Krishna is the Param Brahma. Yeah, we are all Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. But Krishna is the Param Brahma. The ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All these great sages such as Narad, Asita, Devala, and Vyas confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. So it's very important here. It is not out of sentiment. Arjuna is approving that Krishna is God. No, it is not out of his sentiment, but Krishna accepted Lord Krishna to be the supreme person. That's on the basis of the statement of the previous acharyas, the great rishis. Yeah. Ahustvam risaya sarve. Risaya sarve means all the rishis, great sages, all the great sages. Ahustvam risaya sarve devarsi. For example, Devarsi Narad, who can be more authoritative than Devarsi Narad? Yeah, he's one of the 12 Mahajans. Devarsi Narad, Asita, Devala, Vyas. Vyas is actually the partial Saktiavesh avatar of the Lord. Yeah, Vyas. Sito Devalo Vyas, Swayam Eva Bravisime. All of them, they have approved that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For example, Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva mentioned in his Srimad Bhagavatam, compiled by him. Yeah, Srimad Bhagavatam is written by Vyasadeva. Ete Cham Sakala Pumsa Krishnas to Bhagavan Swayam. So it established Krishna to be the Swayam Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of God. Yeah. So Arjuna is approving Krishna, accepting Krishna to be God is not on the basis of simply being sentimental, but he has a very strong base, very strong foundation that all the great sages approve that Krishna is God. Of course, in many stories of the Puranas, we have found the story, for example, like when Bhrigu Muni was actually asked by other sages that the other sages, they are asking who is the greatest personalities among the Trinity. Yeah, namely the Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. And first Bhrigu came to his father Brahma, and Bhrigu didn't offer respect to his father, didn't offer obeisances, and Brahma became angry. So he knew that Brahma is not the greatest personality. And then he went to Shiva, and then he started to seemingly blaspheming Shiva. with such harsh words, saying that because Shiva is his brother, so Shiva wanted to hug him. But Brigu said, you cannot hug me because you are dirty. Your body full of ashes, crematory ashes, and you're garlanded by a skull. Your association is the Buddha, the ghost. So you are Muchi. You cannot touch me. And Shiva became angry. And then when he went to the abode of Lord Narayan, so Brigu immediately kicked Lord Narayan's chest. But Lord Narayan said, "Oh, you okay? Are you all right? I hope your soft lotus feet is not hurt by my hard chest. I'm sorry, I cannot. I forgot the etiquette of receiving guests." So in that way, we can understand that actually Brigu also concluded that among the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, Lord Vishnu is the topmost personality. Yeah, because he didn't get agitated. He didn't influence by the three modes of material nature. Yeah. All right. Let's see Srila Prabhupada's purport here. The Supreme is different from the individual soul. He at once boldly declares, "You are Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead." Here, Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. If we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should accept the statement in these two verses. This is called the Parampara system, acceptance of the disciplic succession. Unless one is in the disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. This is also another important aspect, how to understand Bhagavad Gita. We have to be connected with the Parampara. Yeah, evam parampara praptam imam rajar sayo vidu sakalini hamata yoguna staprantam. So Krishna says that I already imam vivasvate yogam praktavana hamave. I revealed this Bhagavad Gita to Vivaswan. But then in the next verse, Krishna says that evam parampara praptam. Why I speak this Gita again to you? Because the parampara system is broken. So one cannot understand Bhagavad Gita without being connected to the proper bona fide parampara system, because it's like chain, like a chain. You have to be connected, like how you recharge your phone. For example, if the battery is low, by connecting it, by plugging it. Yeah. So the connection should be there. Otherwise, you cannot recharge your phone, right? So similarly, we have to connect ourselves to the bona fide parampara system through accepting diksha, initiation, from a bona fide spiritual master who is also connected through the parampara system. Yeah. So here, Krishna's supremacy is confirmed by authorities. Arjuna is one of the authorities, of course. Text number 14. "O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality." Arjuna herein confirms that the person of faithless and demonic nature cannot understand Krishna. Yeah. Once therefore follow the path of Arjuna, he received the authority of Bhagavad Gita. The acceptance by Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. Then we can understand the essence of Gita, of the Bhagavad Gita. And then only can we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, very important verse here also, that because Krishna is the person who established religious principles. Yeah. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam navai vidu risayuna pideva asiddha mukya ashura manusha. So religious principle is not established by great demigods and great rishis, was situated in the topmost planet in the material realm. What to speak of the Rakshasas, the demons. And of course, Arjuna mentioned here, nor the demigods nor the demons can understand your personality. And Srila Prabhupada mentioned that, of course, those who have demoniac nature, they will not understand Krishna. Avajananti mamuda manushim tanumashita. They will consider Krishna to be ordinary human being. The example is Duryodhana. when Krishna came as the messenger for the peace on behalf of the Pandavas. So Duryodhana foolishly ordering his army to catch Krishna and bind Krishna. Yeah, Vajananti Mamuda, because he's a Mudha, fool, thinking that Manusim Tanumasrita, Krishna is just ordinary human being. Because Param Bhava Majananto, they don't understand Krishna's Param Bhava. Yeah, Krishna's superior nature. Ajana means they don't know. Mama Bhuta Maha Ishwaram, and they don't know that Krishna is the Maha Ishwara. We are all Ishwara, we are all controller, but Krishna is the Maheshwara. Yeah, he is the topmost controller. Only devotees can understand Krishna. So understanding Krishna is not easy. One can understand him through bona fide disciplic succession. So the same point is being made in this verse. Text number 15. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Purport: the Supreme Lord Krishna can be known by persons who are in relationship with him through the discharge of devotional service, like Arjuna and his followers. Thus, the truth about Krishna is established in this verse by the realization of Arjuna, and we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna as he is. Text number 16. Please tell me in detail. So now here, after till text number 15, Arjuna is accepting Krishna to be the Supreme Person. So from this text 16 to 18, Krishna is being requested by Arjuna about his opulence here. So text 16, please tell me in detail of your by which you pervade all this world. Actually, this is already described in the 7th and 9th chapter, how Krishna pervades the whole universe. But Arjuna wants to convince us actually how Krishna pervades the whole world. So by showing his opulences. Srila Prabhupada says, in this verse, it appears that Arjuna is already satisfied with his understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So Arjuna is asking Krishna how he exists in his all-pervading aspect through his different energies. One should know that this is being asked by Arjuna on behalf of the common people. Yeah. So Arjuna, as I mentioned already, that this topic is described in the 7th and 9th chapter in details actually, how Krishna pervades the whole world through his energy, how Krishna's unique relationship with the material world. He is aloof, yet at the same time he's involved. Although he's involved, but actually indirectly he's involved. Yeah, indirectly he's involved, although he's aloof. Yeah. So a bit intricate to understand, of course, Krishna's relationship, unique position. But for us to understand, that's like Krishna through his energy maintaining the material world, but he's actually always engaged in his Nitya Lila in the spiritual world. Yeah, enjoying the rasas with his pure devotees. Yeah. Goloka eva nivasatya kilatma bhutam. So he's always in Goloka Vrindavan. Ananda chinmaya rasa pratibhavita vistabirya eva nijarupataya kalavis. So Ananda chinmaya rasa, he's always happy in the spiritual world. Then why he's would waste his time with this material world? So of course, Prabhupada gave the analogy just like a king. We cannot expect a king directly to come to each and every village to solve some problem. Yet he delegate his men to take care of the matter. So similarly, Krishna is like that. He's remained in his spiritual abode, but he's through his energy, unlimited potency, is maintaining the material world. especially in the Paramatma feature. So that's how Krishna pervades the whole world. Yeah. But of course, the example of the king is not very, uh, I would say it's appropriate because Srila Prabhupada gave that example. But we cannot exactly compare Krishna like king in this material world, because when the king sending his man, of course, that man has as much as power that the king gave in his order. But in Krishna's case, Krishna's energy and Krishna is non-different. Yeah? All these different incarnations actually non-different from Krishna, yet Krishna remained. So we should understand that he's not dividing himself, although um, he expanding himself into unlimited, yet he remained complete in himself. So now Arjuna is asking Lord Krishna here to reveal his opulences. That's for the benefit of common people, as what Srila Prabhupada mentioned here, not for Arjunas, because Arjuna is uh, completely understand, completely accepting Krishna to be the Supreme Lord. Yeah. Then what is the use of asking Krishna such a thing? But that's for our benefit. Text 17 and 18. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you, and how shall I know you? In what various form are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? Srila Prabhupada mentioned, common men, including demons and the theists, cannot know Krishna because he is guarded by his Yogamaya energy. Again, these questions are asked by Arjun for their benefit. The superior devotee is concerned not on understanding, but for the understanding of all mankind. So Arjun, out of his mercy, because he is a Vaishnava devotee, is opening for the common man the understanding of the all-pervasiveness of the Supreme Lord. So this is the nature, the beauty of pure devotee. He's not concerning about himself, yeah, but he concerned of others. Prayena deva munaya swavimuktikama maunam charanti vijanena pararthanista. Naitan vihaya kripana vimumuksa eko nanyat tadasha sharanam brahmaton pashi. So this is the prayer of Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto. Prayena deva munaya swavimuktikama. There are so many great demigods and great muni. Swavimuktikama, they simply concerning about their own liberation. Naitan vihaya vimuksa eko. But as far as I'm concerned, Prahlad Maharaj said, I'm not concerning about my own liberation. Vimuksa eko means only me. I'm not concerning only myself, my own liberation, but I'm concerning of all these fools. Yeah. Na anyat tvadasya sharanam brahmatonu pashi. They cannot be happy if they not surrender to you. Na anyat tvadasya sharanam. They cannot be liberated if they don't surrender to you. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj is, even when he's small boy, 5 years old, he already started his preaching. That's the concern of a pure devotee. Yeah. They are not at all selfish. Let other be delivered. Text 18. O Janardhan, again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I'm never satisfied. I never satiated in hearing about you. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. Modern stories, fiction, and histories are different from the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, in that one will tire of hearing mundane stories, but one never tires of hearing about Krishna. One never tires of hearing about Krishna. It is for this reason only that the history of the whole universe is replete with references to the pastimes of the incarnation of Godhead. The Puranas are histories of bygone ages that relate to pastimes of various incarnations of the Lord. In this way, the reading matter remains forever fresh despite repeated readings. So this is the nature of Krishna Katha. Yeah, Sravanam Kirtanam about Krishna. It's always fresh. Yeah, because Krishna is known as the Nava Yovanam. Yeah, Nava Yovanam means he's ever fresh. He's ever fresh. And indeed, actually, the more we advance, actually, the symptoms of one's advancement in Krishna consciousness is that by assessing how much taste he gets of hearing and chanting Krishna's glories. Yeah. Because when we are affected by material jaundice, Shad Krishna Nama Charita Disita Vidya Pito Patapta Rashana Asha Na Ruchika. We don't have ruchi, we don't have taste. We cannot taste the sweetness, the rasa, the mellow of Krishna's name, of Krishna's pastimes. Yeah, because avidya, because we are affected by the jaundice of avidya. So when we get cure from this avidya, ignorance, material disease, then we naturally develop affection toward hearing, especially about Krishna Katha. Sruta Vyadi Nirajendra Niram Santi Sahasrasaha Apashyatam Atmatatvam Griheshu Grihamedinam. So hearing is very important. Yeah. Hearing is in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam in chapter 14, where Srila Narad Muni is actually preached to Yudhishthira Maharaj, because Yudhishthira Maharaj was asking about the varnashram, the duty of householder. Yeah, so Narad Muni, we may wonder that, well, Narad Muni is a sannyas, is a brahmachari. Why he's talking about grihastha? Well, he's a perfected being, so he knows everything. So why not? Yeah. So the first thing that Narad Muni mentioned, that the duty of the householder is that should be hearing the pastime of the Lord every single day. Yeah. Constant hearing. That actually will relieve the suffering or solve any kind of problem in our life, especially being grihastha. And this is very practical. Yeah, this is very practical. Yasyam Vaishru Yamanayam Krishne Parama Purushe Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsam Soka Moha Bhaya. So the Soka Moha Bhaya, the lamentation, illusion, and fear will be destroyed simply by the process of hearing, because Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsam. Hearing will help us to develop love for Krishna. Yeah, especially being in the householder field, yeah, being grihastha, we are always afflicted by fear. Yeah, fear of, maintenance, where to get money, how to secure my money. What about my wife? What about my son? What about my daughter? What about house rent? So many things. Fear, soka, lamentation. When we get something and then we lose it, we lament. Moha, illusion. Yeah, this is my house, my car, my wife, my children. This is illusion. But however, having this knowledge, we should not be artificially neglecting and be irresponsible toward our family members. Yeah. Still, we should act as if we are attached to our wife, to our children, as if we are attached. But actually, internally, we have to develop this detachment. And that detachment comes from hearing the pastime of the Lord. I would advise that everybody here should read at least the 14th chapter of the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. If you cannot read the whole chapter, at least only the translation. If you cannot read that also, just read the synopsis given by Srila Prabhupada in the beginning of the chapter. Very interesting. Yeah. So we have seen here Arjuna's confession, Arjuna's acceptance of Lord Krishna's authority, being the Supreme Lord, and then he's requesting Lord Krishna to reveal his opulence. So now we will be seeing that opulences. Yeah. So from text 19 to 42, Krishna is explaining about his opulences. In response to Arjuna's request, Krishna described the most prominent amongst his limitless, all-pervading opulences. Krishna lists various objects or groups of living entities and states that he is their essence or the chief member of each group. Yeah. After naming 82 opulences, Krishna summarizes by explaining that these opulences simply indicate his glory, for he pervades and supports the entire universe with a mere fragment of his total potency. Text number 19. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent. O Arjun, my opulence is limitless." Yeah. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is not possible to comprehend the greatness of Krishna and his opulences. The senses of the individual soul are limited and do not permit him to understand the totality of Krishna's affairs. Still, the devotees try to understand Krishna, but not on the principle that they will be able to understand Krishna fully. Krishna knows that living entities do not understand the extent of his opulences. He therefore agrees to state only the principal manifestations of his different energies. Yeah. So who can understand Krishna? Krishna's glories are unlimited. It is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam that Lord Ananta says, mentioned that he has millions of tongues. Yeah, millions of hoods, millions of tongues. He mentioned that yet, despite of having these millions of tongues, still I am unable to recite all Lord Krishna's glories. And then what we can expect from ourselves, we have small brain and we have only one tongue. And that's also we don't use properly. How do we expect that we can understand Krishna's glories? Yeah, he's unlimited. Krishna's potency is unlimited. Of course, nobody can understand Krishna fully, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned. So in different lectures, Srila Prabhupada may mention different things. Like, for example, one time Srila Prabhupada mentioned in his class that just try to understand Krishna and your life will be successful. Okay, probably many times we hear Srila Prabhupada mention that in his class. Just try to understand Krishna and your life will become successful. And then another time I was hearing his lectures, Prabhupada's lecture, he mentioned that don't try to understand Krishna. What is your qualification to understand God? Because for sure we'll be failed, because nobody can understand Krishna's glories in full. But the thing here is that how do we understand that Krishna's energy, Krishna's potency is unlimited? By trying to understand Krishna's energy, Krishna's opulence. When we understand that we fail to do so, that means, yes, he's really great. He's unlimited. Yeah. When we understand that we cannot understand Krishna fully, then we will understand that, yes, he's unlimited. Yeah. I hope my statement is not bewildering. I just want to repeat again. When we try to understand Krishna and then we fail, we realize that we fail to understand Krishna fully. At that point is actually, we should conclude that yes, Krishna is unlimited. Yeah, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned here that no one can understand Krishna fully because he's unlimited. But here from text number 20, we will see Krishna is mentioning about his opulence, and that's only the principle. There are 82. Yeah, so from text 20 to 39, Lord Krishna is describing his opulences to Arjuna. So from this text 20 to 39, Krishna is mentioning that amongst this I am this, amongst this I am this, or sometimes he may quote some personalities. Amongst these people, I am this. For example, amongst the Maruts, I am Marichi. Amongst the archers, I am Arjuna, mentioned here. Yeah, and so on. So I request all of you to read that part in your own timing, because Krishna is just mentioning like that, amongst this I am this, amongst this I am that, just to show that how he's the best amongst all personalities. Who's the best personalities among those personalities? That's actually representing Krishna amongst various objects. What is the greatest amongst those objects? So that's actually representing Krishna. So please read that part, 20 to 39. And text 40, finally Krishna says, Almighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. As stated in the Vedic literature, although the opulences and energy of the Supreme are understood in various ways, there is no limit to such opulences. Therefore, not all the opulences and energies can be explained. Simply a few examples are being described to Arjuna to pacify his inquisitiveness. Yeah. Well, that few is already 82 to pacify Arjuna's mind, because Arjuna is now, after accepting Krishna to be the Supreme Lord, so it is actually natural things when we, for example, when a young boy falls in love to a young girl. Okay, that's like easy example to understand. When a young boy falls in love to a young girl, so naturally he wants to hear more about her qualities. Yeah, the more her good qualities revealed, so the attachment of the boy, the love of the boy toward the girl increased. So similarly, the body is also like that. Yeah, the body is also like that. That the more information or sweet pastimes or opulence of the Lord that devotees get, the more his love attachment to Krishna, his asakti, is increased toward Krishna. In the verse of Madgata Prana verse, the second Chatusloki in our previous class, we have discussed. Srila Prabhupada mentioned toward the end of his purport, it's actually hearing and discussing about Krishna's pastimes is the life and soul of the devotees. And the attachment for a devotee hearing Krishna's pastimes is just like the attachment of the attraction of young girls toward a young boy. Yuvatinam yatha yuni yunam chau yuvato yatha mano viramate tadvat manome ramatam tvayi. So this, I think this is from the Vishnu Purana. Yuvatinam yatha yuni, just like a young girl gets attracted by a young boy. Yunamcha yuvatau yatha. So similarly, a young boy get attracted to a young girl. Mano viramate tadvat. So their mind becomes attracted towards each other just by seeing each other. That's natural tendency in the material. So the last line mentioning Manome Ramatam Twayi. So please make my mind Manome Ramatam Twayi. Take pleasure in your pastime, O my Lord. So that should be our prayer. And that's actually natural, will develop naturally in the heart of the devotees. Yeah. Being eager to hear Krishna's pastimes. That's a symptoms of advancement in Krishna consciousness. Yeah. All right. And the last, not the last one, 41, second last. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Any glorious or beautiful existence should be understood to be but a fragmental manifestation of Krishna's opulence, whether it be in a spiritual or material world. Anything extraordinarily opulent should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence. Yeah. If we see like in this earth, the most beautiful woman or the most handsome man, so we consider them to be beautiful, we consider them to be handsome. But if we, by reading this section of the Bhagavad Gita, actually, we can understand that when Krishna mentioned it's just a little spark of my energy, of my opulence, then how much beautiful Krishna is, unimaginable. Yeah, unimaginable. The very meaning of Krishna is one who is most attractive. Yeah. So this is the last verse of this chapter. Athawa bahu naitena kim gyatena tavarjuna vistabhyaham idam krishnam ekam sena stito jagat. So he mentioned here ekam sena stito jagat. But what need is there, O Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Srila Prabhupada explained, the Lord here tells Arjuna that there is no point in understanding how things exist in their separate opulence and grandeur. He should know that all things are existing due to Krishna's entering them as super soul. Srila Baladev Vidya Bhushan, a great acharya in disciplic succession from Krishna, concludes his commentary on this chapter by saying, from Lord Krishna's potent energy, even the powerful sun gets its power, and by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, Lord Krishna is worshipable. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and one should always meditate upon him and enjoy one's transcendental relationship with him. He is the supreme existence. Yeah, that's end our discussion on the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So just to summarize our class today, that after Lord Krishna explaining the Chatusloki Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, so Arjuna accepting Lord Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead, yeah, Param Brahma. But Arjuna's acceptance is not out of sentiment, but he has a very strong base, yeah. That all the previous acharyas and great personalities, Asito Devalo Vyasa, Devarsi Narada Statra, Swayam Eva Bravisimi, all of them accepted Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. So that's actually the nature of the devotee, that we don't speculate from our mind. Rather, we consulting the sadhu, sastra, and guru. Yeah, sadhu refers to the previous acharya. Yeah, sadhu also refers to devotees around us, and guru also the previous acharya, spiritual master. So yes, Arjuna accepted Krishna to be the supreme person, and Arjuna is requesting Krishna to reveal his opulence, how he pervades this world. And from text 20 to 39, Lord Krishna revealing his vibhuti, his opulence. And then finally, toward the end of the chapter, Lord Krishna concludes by saying that all these opulences actually just small, just a fragmental particle of my energy, of my entire energy. And of course, we understand from Srila Prabhupada's purport, why would Arjuna ask Lord Krishna to reveal his opulence when he already convinced that Krishna is God? And Prabhupada mentioned it is for the benefit of the common people. So when you, later in the 11th chapter, day after tomorrow, we'll see 11th chapter about the Vishwarup Yoga, where Krishna further manifesting his universal form to Arjuna, that by seeing that actually people would believe that Krishna is God. Yeah. So by seeing someone's ordinary power, ordinary opulence, so we become respectful to that person. So similarly, now God is revealing his full, well, not full opulence, but just small spark of his opulence. Yet to our calculation, that's like so much. You know? So we would appreciate Krishna more. But of course, this is not applicable for the Ragatmika Bhakta, uh, just like the residents of Vrindavan. Although Krishna manifests his opulences in full in Vrindavan, yet all this awe and reverence just covered by their love for Krishna. The only matter is love for Krishna. Yeah. So for devotees in Vrindavan, they don't really care about Krishna's opulence. They just love Krishna. But for devotees outside Vrindavan, so to know, to get the information, to understand Krishna's opulence is very important, because that induces our bhakti. Yet the Ragatmika Bhakta, like in Vrindavan, they already have their bhakti since their very birth. Yeah. Raga Atmika. So their raga, their attachment is Atmika, their Atma. It's natural for them to get attached to Krishna, to develop love for Krishna. But for us, we need to understand Krishna's opulence. We need to see Krishna's opulence in order to believe that he's God. Yeah. That's why Arjuna is requesting Krishna to reveal his opulences. Otherwise, there's no need, because Arjuna already have that faith and accepted Krishna as the Supreme God. All right, I will stop here. So finally, we have completed the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Please read that section from text 20 to 39. Were there any question or comments before I stop? All right, if there is no, so we will start chapter 11 in our next class, day after tomorrow. Thank you so much.